Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. Those are my covers behind me. Know what they look like? There they are. Thanks for finding the time on the web to hear our episode this afternoon. Winding down the Olympics. Team USA took it on the chin. Lost to Slovakia the other night. 47 seconds to go. They're up 2-1. All they had to do was, kill the clock out. Couldn't get out of the zone. The other team pulls their goalie, 6-on-5. They score with 47 seconds to go. 2-2, go in overtime. Don't get it done. Go in the shootout. Done. They lost. Very bummer. Then, I think last night, or maybe it was the night before. No, Wednesday night. I forget. A couple nights ago. Then the women played for the gold round against Canada. Got torched 4-1. Took the silver. So congrats to the ladies, for bringing home the medal. But Canada had a great team, and they were just bigger and faster than the Americans. But really good showing for the American women. So congrats to them. And but the men's team in Canada, they were the favorite. They got beat by Sweden too. So it was supposed to be the U.S. and Canada in the finals. They're both gone. So that's the Olympics for you. You got to have momentum, and it is one of those things. You can't win them all. So, but I know the men are really bummed out. But they put that team together in 10 days. So really went undefeated in the preliminary round, but they just ran into another team that had a really good night. 9 out of 10 games they played that team, they beat them. But this was the one game they didn't get it done. So anyway, but it's been fun watching the Olympics, and I'm a hockey guy, and so it was good to see some puck on the frozen pond. So with that said, got a pretty cool episode today. I have a gentleman down there in West Palm Beach, Florida. His name is Kevin Priddy. He's the executive board member and founder of PlanHub. Kevin, say hello from South Florida.
Hi, David. It's good to see you and everyone out there.
Yeah. Welcome to Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And Kevin, I asked him, said, "Hey, what's the temp up there?" And he's like, looking out the window, 75, 80. Hey, I'm in Atlanta. I got my sweatshirt on. I'm trying to stay warm. It's a little chilly today, but nice out in the sun. So, but the reason why I had Kevin on is, as we start the new year, everybody's trying to find out, how they can connect and projects and finding new products and getting them connected with subs and. With the labor shortage and products stuck on boats out in the ocean off Long Beach, it's there's all these little hindrances. So technology is a very cool thing with construction and getting projects done on time, with all these things that are kind of hitting you from all sides. And so I wanted to bring Kevin on because he is the founder, and talk about his platform. And how, if you're not familiar with it, how you might be able to use it to benefit yourself, to make your projects in collaboration with your subs and so forth, run more smoothly. So, Kevin, on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk, you got to tell your story. So, we want to know, where you live, where you grew up, kind of brothers and sisters, where you went to school, and kind of how you ended up at, PlanHub. So, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
Yeah, thank you. Well, my backstory is I've lived in Florida for I think around 27 years now. Nice. And maybe a little longer, most of my life at this point. Grew up in Kentucky, but I've been in Florida most of my life. Went to school at FAU, Florida Atlantic University, so I'm now. So here in Boca Raton, and my plan was to go into investment banking. So I joined Morgan Stanley right out of college. And got into the investment banking business. And I learned pretty quickly that I wasn't really enjoying the corporate world, and decided to go start my own business with a partner, and was doing that for a couple of years. And my dad had a small construction company, and he bugged me for about a year to come join him and be partners with him. So that's how I got into construction. So that was around 2003. And yeah, we did that for a few years, and we went through the big boom of the construction ages in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and then we went through the bust of like 07, 08,
Oh yeah, everything fell off the cliff with the mortgage crisis. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through the ups and downs, but one of the things that I was really good at was finding work. I was able to, establish a lot of relationships with general contractors and whatnot. And we still stayed pretty busy. And that's kind of how it led into PlanHub is, I had kind of had a knack for finding projects and other people around me like, Kevin, where are you finding all this work? I'm starving here. Can you feed me some business?
Mhm.
And that put a light bulb in my head, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can create a business out of finding work for other subcontractors. And that's where my initial idea for PlanHub came about, and that was in 2008. I launched it early 2009.
Sweet. Was your dad's business your construction? Were you residential? Were you commercial or?
Yeah, so he was small, mostly in concrete. So he did a lot of driveways and patios and slabs. So I got into business. I'd been around it since I was a kid. So, I knew how to form a slab at probably age 13. And, we did a lot of that. And then when I joined him, he encouraged me to get my general contractor's license. So I went and took that 2-day exam, which was probably the hardest test I've ever taken, and got licensed. And we started branching out and doing full construction projects as well.
Nice. Well, my family's from construction too, so I grew up, they're in steel recycling and demolition, and so I was always down in the yard on, just like you, playing on the cranes and everything else. And when I grew up outside of Philly, so when everybody got their driver's license when you're 16, all the grandsons, everybody had to work in the scrapyard. That was the gig. So and that company was started in 1888, still in business today.
Wow.
And my cousins now, they're running it. It's like 4th generation, maybe 5th, I forget. But it's cool when you look back. That you think you're going to do something. I'm in construction. I'm building a magazine, but I really had that was my background, and so it's funny how it's a small world that you never know. You think you're going to do something, and I've heard that story so many. I went to school. Thought I was going to be, thought you were going to be an investment banker, and now you're doing, construction software, or, collaboration, call it what you want. So
yeah, I didn't go to school to become a software builder. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but it's amazing as you go through life and how the work journeys will take you in a different place than you plan, but it's actually for the best. And the little experiences that you learned along the way was just building up and preparing you for that moment.
So let's talk about the shutdown. It's now going almost 2 years. PlanHub has been around for how many years now?
So we started the company in 2013. We were originally called Elite ProNet, and I can probably give you the little backstory of how we evolved.
Yeah,
it might be helpful.
Sure.
So when I started the company and launched it in 2009, it was Elite ProNet. And our goal was to find projects. So we'd go out and find construction projects that general contractors had out for bid. And we would post it on our website, and we would sell access to subcontractors to help them find the work. And we had a pretty successful business, but it just wasn't scalable. It wasn't, it was really regional. We had some presence in Florida and Georgia, some scattered around the East Coast. But it was really kind of hard to scale that business because we were just duplicating information at the permission of GCs. And it was probably in 2015, 16, me and my partner, Kyle, we kind of were putting our heads together, like, what are we missing? There's something here that we're not seeing. And it was crazy because we'd go through like these spreadsheets of all the different contractors that we worked with. And it seemed, there'd be 500 different GCs and they all used a different way to share projects. And I'm like, this is crazy. Why don't we fix this problem? Like, let's build a software and give it away for free to GCs just so they can distribute their plans to subcontractors. And that way we'll get rid of all this really fragmented industry. It's like, we'll put them on one central marketplace to share projects. So that's what we did. And we launched it in early 2017. And we wanted to, try to get a couple thousand users within the first couple months. And I believe we had around 20,000 users in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. So then we knew we had a really scalable business, and we just ran with it. And we took the Elite ProNet business model and merged it in the PlanHub at the end of 2017, and it's been gangbusters ever since. We're now around 400,000 users today.
Wow. And it's basically subs, general contractor, or architect, or is it just, or is it a whole?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's mostly made up of general contractors, subcontractors, and about 10% of suppliers. Mm-hmm. So the business model, the way it works today is general contractors, and it doesn't have to be limited to commercial, even though most of our projects are commercial based. But any general contractor needing bids can post their project for free on PlanHub, and they can utilize their network of subs, so they can upload their own database and distribute their plans, or they can utilize this vast network of subcontractors that we've built to get bids. And that's one of the things right now, and it kind of ties into your question you were asking about, like the pandemic and changes that have occurred. There was a slowdown in construction in early 2020 because of the pandemic. And a lot of people put the brakes on, like, oh, we're not going to build anything. We're scared. And uncertainty creates fear with contractors. So it was actually a beneficial time for us as far as, our growth, because contractors started being proactive. It's like, hey, I still got to run a business and I have to look for more work. So they started utilizing PlanHub, and, we grew pretty significantly in 2020. But then things sped up, and then you create this huge backlog of projects that are, built up for 6-9 months into the future. Sometimes
and they all
longer.
Wanted it done yesterday.
Exactly. So now there's a different problem in the industry where all these GCs are moving forward with projects, and they don't have the subs to do the project. So they have to go out to the network and find other subs that are qualified, and and try to get the best bid at the same time.
Oh yeah. Listen, my wife's an interior designer, and she does residential. She does commercial too, but she's got umpteen million projects going on right now, and she's got her crew, but there are so many other people that are trying to get her crew to do other stuff because they can't find it. And it's, you got to have they're like, oh man, Kristen's great to us, we can't, blow her. But if there's other couple guys, they have to decide which ones they're going to take and which ones they're not. The subs are like, hey, I'm in a premium right now.
Yeah.
I just had a guy, he's looking for an estimator. I said, oh, or a project manager. Like, they're like impossible to find because they're either entrenched at their job, they don't want to make it, or, they're just, it's kind of like a seller's market. It's like it's like a used car. They're worth more than a new car is. And because there's just not that many of them out there. So
exactly.
The whole labor shortage thing. We just did our summit back in a couple of weeks back in February, and in January, excuse me, I'm still in February. And our keynote was on labor shortage. And there's a gig called Rock the Trades. They're backed by Stanley, and it's a way to go out into the schools to maybe get shop class put in and get youngsters to think about, hey, work with your hands instead of going and get a 4-year degree that probably isn't, going to do anything for you. And when you get out, and there's nothing wrong with being a plumber, electrician, HVAC, concrete, all welder, whatever it might be. It's a very productive, way to go versus, the 4-year, typical college route. And because there's a serious shortage, because like you said, when the pandemic started, everybody just said, okay, it might go on for a couple of weeks. No one knew. A month. Hey, those stores I was going to build, I'm putting a hold on them for 6 months, or my payment plans are going to 180, all these different, and then all other stuff about, hey, I got to keep my sites safe, all the PPP equipment and all the stuff that was going on. But in the meantime, then when things started to open up, everybody just kind of rushed, hey, I got to get everything done. And the help wasn't there. And let alone trying to figure out how you were going to get it done. So,
yeah. And it also caused strain on the other side, because so many people started working from home and they weren't traveling. So they were saving up money. And now that they're at home, they wanted to make their home a more enjoyable place to be. So people started spending a lot of money on renovating their homes. And that's caused additional strains.
That's why my wife's business is booming. I mean, it's just insane. You know, and she's she's got a website, but it's it's just referral. I mean, one right after the other. People are, and homes. Listen, I just sold my house at the end of October. It was my third house. I was in there 17 years, and we bought a piece of land up on the lake, and we want to build on it. But right now, I don't want to build anything because everything's so sky high with products and stuff. So we bought, we had to find a little house, and we redid our basement, and we acted as our own contractor. And I told her, I said, look, we got to find a house to live in because once this house is going to sell, because the real estate market's hot, and if we don't find a house, we're gonna like living in a tent, with our 5 dogs. And so we finally found a house after. I mean, I was bidding against like 40 to 50 people on these homes, and you go and look at a house, and there'd be 3 people waiting, and they say you got 15 minutes, And then if you weren't even buying it for cash, you weren't even looked at. And so I think we lost out on like 20 some odd homes. And
Wow.
finally had this one came up that was close by. It would have been an easy move. I said, do whatever you need to do to get this house. Because as a fenced yard, dogs, it was close to the lake. We could keep an eye on our other project. But just in itself, labor materials are short. And even when I did my basement, I was, sheetrock was up. I think I had 14 2 gauge wire, $60 a roll. I had to pay 120, 130, and then you couldn't even find it. And paint stores didn't have primer, all of this stuff. So I experienced, it was crazy. I can imagine all these contractors going, hey, where am I going to get this stuff? So
yeah, we hear that a lot. I'm dealing with the same. I bought a house December of 2020, and we've been renovating it. And like my roof, I signed the contract in September. They said it'd be a couple months to get started. They just tore off the old one and did a dry in, but now the concrete tile is delayed till April.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just taken forever, and that's just creating more backlog in the industry.
Yeah. And listen, Florida's a hot market. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Everybody and the mother's moving down there, and real estate prices are sky high, and the inventory is low. So if you're a seller, you better make sure you have someplace to go, or you're gonna be living in that tent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, as far as the pandemic went, you had, obviously you guys are probably, very technologically, oriented and, doing a lot of stuff. How did that affect you as your own workflow, even though, you had to deal with the shortages, with your clientele, but, just internally for yourself? Most of your people worked out of the house, I presume.
Yeah, we went for probably a good 4 or 5 months where everyone was pretty well remote. I was still going into the office. We're in a 10-story office building, and I think I was one of maybe 5 people in the entire building, just because I have 3 younger kids and I couldn't stay home. So I had to get out, and I'd go to the office by myself for like 4 months. And then we started having a few people come back in because their home work setup just wasn't conducive. And we were so spread out, it really wasn't a big deal having people in the office. So, and then people just gradually came back in. So I would say by the end of 2020, 90% of our office was back in the office full time. But, it was challenging because you're used to sitting around a table and having meetings and discussions and collaborating. And now we're doing Zoom. I mean, I spend 4 or 5 hours a day on Zoom. So it's a much different environment now.
Listen, Zoom's not going anywhere. I mean, companies know that they can get a lot done technologically. There's nothing like face-to-face, interaction. If you want to see a project, it's a lot nicer to see it in person or a piece of tile in your hands than it is, looking at it on the web. But, without Zoom, I don't know what would have been done if this thing wasn't, or Google has their version, and there's a couple other ones out there. But without it, I had a project manager right in the beginning when I was doing my podcast, and he said, yeah, and like one day he was in Saudi Arabia, he was in Europe, he was in South Africa, he was in Latin America, he was in Canada, he did 2 walkthroughs in the States, all in one day. It could have been it would have taken like 2 weeks, to do all that. So it's a tool, and a lot of people realize that, it is, but they still want to have that interaction. And so I totally get that thing. I was already working out of my house, so it really didn't affect me. But my first I did my 10th summit in January of 2020. My first cocktail party, we do a cocktail party every month with get our local subscribers together. I did one down in Coconut Grove. There was a shopping center that was getting redone. Took the tour, was with the Retail Contractors Association, and ended up at the Barracuda Bar across the street. And then I was in Milwaukee looking for hotels for my retreats in the middle of March when everything got shut down. And then I kind of had to figure out, oh my God, I'm a print face-to-face guy. What do I do? You can't send out contracts to people for next year because you don't even know what's going on. And so, and I'm getting all these calls from, architects, engineers, contractors, we're all talking about, liability and this, and, it was a crazy, crazy time. But the biggest thing was, I think so many people learned about their business. And especially if you're working at Travis, it's not all about work, 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 work. That you have a family, you can enjoy life. There's other things other than work. And that transition of, all work and who was it in The Shining, Jack Nicholson, all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy. So, it was a true statement, because, all these workaholics, they realized that, hey, I can still get things done. And so I think a lot of people learned a lot about their business, about their personal life. They kind of, saw, hey, there's a lot to it, and life's short. It goes quick. So
yeah, absolutely. One thing for us that really changed is in the past, we'd always try to hire people for work in the office. And this changed our perspective. Now, when we post a job listing, it's not centrally located to, say, West Palm Beach, Florida. We open it up nationwide. So instead of, just trying to find someone within a 50-mile radius, we can go out and get talent from all over the country now, because it's not necessary to be in the office every day.
Absolutely. So do you have any new products that you've, as we come out, into the new year in 2022, that you have on the horizon, or that you've launched that, our listeners might be interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're always innovating. The core of our customers has always been subcontractors and general contractors in the past. But one of the things that we've learned through the pandemic with the supply shortage is suppliers want better access to their end buyers, which is typically subcontractors. The painting manufacturers or the painting suppliers don't necessarily sell to GCs; they sell to your local painter. And how do we connect them together better, and also keep them informed of what availability looks like? Because with the supply chain short, you don't want to be committing to installing or painting something that's 6 months delayed as far as getting the material. So if our goal is to connect the buyers together, buyers and sellers together, and also, speed up the process in which they can deliver a finished product. So that's been our main focus for the past year, is building out what we call our supplier solution. And it actually goes live on Tuesday, February 22nd, the Tuesday. So we're pretty excited about that launch, and we have a big campaign around that. But it's going to be a big year for suppliers and trying to shorten that supply chain and just connecting them better. And then we're also going to continue, innovating our subcontractor offering and our GC offering. So we have a lot of things lined up this year that I think they'll be real excited about.
Hey, listen, like I said, it gives you time to think. You figure out something, and it's so exciting for a launch. It's just like open a new hotel. Hey, here you got another platform, and I'll make sure your marketing guys make sure that he sends me a press release. I'll post it up on the web for you. So
awesome. Appreciate that.
No, we'll take care of it. I'm waiting for my new website. It was supposed to be done a week or two ago. They're still dealing with like little things, and I want to make sure everything looks good. And I'm waiting for my link here today, so I can kind of like maybe I'll make it live on Monday. I've been waiting. So, but like anything, it's the labor thing. You're like, hey, what's another day? It's digital. So, if you were going to leave our audience with one positive thought or phrase as we go into the rest of 2022. What would that be?
Don't get complacent That's something that I've learned over, my years in construction and also in this business is, looking from a subcontractor perspective, because that's what I was. A lot of people get complacent because they have work lined up. And we have a lot of customers tell us, oh, I'm backed up for 4 months or I'm backed up for 6 months. But you should always be continuing to grow your business and focus on your business and not just be in your business. And that goes for any business, not just specifically construction, but you should always be working towards growing it. And it doesn't mean you have to be growing and adding more employees, because we hear it all the time. Like, I can't take on more business because I can't find the employees. Well, we understand that. Maybe you don't want to grow your business that way, but can you grow your business and become more profitable by doing the right projects? So that's where PlanHub, I'll give us a little plug here, is, we help contractors identify the right projects to bid on with the right tools. But you want to utilize those tools and identify what are your most profitable projects and bid on those. Because if it's comparing a restaurant to a gas station and a restaurant is more profitable, well, why bid on the gas station when there's all these restaurants? So it's like really honing in and focusing your business on what's most profitable for you. And then if you want to grow it, continuing to expand your relationships with GCs. And that's also where PlanHub really can help as well. But don't get complacent, continue to focus on growing your business.
Hey, listen, my parents, they were on, my mom's remarried, and my stepdad, he was in jewelry, and he was a retailer. So if you're not building stores, your retailer's not growing, you're not keeping your stock. It's the reality of it. You got to be growing. Just like myself, I have X amount of people that are going to retain ads in the magazine, but I always have to be coming in and bringing new business in, because I know they're not, I have a pretty good retention rate. Rarely do I have people, drop out, but if they sell their business, they're no longer there. That stuff happens, which is usually what happens with me. But I'm always looking, hey, I have a list of X amount of people on my hit list. I want to knock 5% of those guys on to get them into my book. And, growth is, I'm in that same mindset, and, looking out into the future that, each year I want to get new customers. I want to maintain my other base, and then, and other stuff. So, you and I are on the same wavelength there. So, optimism, I like it.
Yeah, you're either growing or you're dying. That's what Big Tom Callahan says from one of my favorite movies, Tommy Boy.
Yeah, so there you go.
That was
a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone wanted to get in touch with you, or your sales team, how would they reach out?
It's real simple. All you got to do is go to planhub.com. And there's the best way is to register. You can register for free. You can get in, and whether you're a GC supplier or a sub, and just register and start checking out how it works. It's pretty easy. It was built with ease in mind. And if you wanted to contact us, there's live chat support information right on the homepage of our website. You can reach out to us and contact us directly.
Awesome. So, commercial construction coffee talk people out there, you're looking, if you're a sub, if you're a manufacturer, looking to hook up, like you said, if you're, a paint supplier and you want to get your, paint at the local store, PlanHub, check them out. If you want to reach me, you can catch me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Love to hear from you. We had 28 million people hit our website last year. Hopefully, I was averaging, I think, 2.3 million, but at the end of the year, I was about 2.8. Hopefully this year I'll go over 3 million. Got a ton of content on there. I'm always looking for stuff, just like Kevin, when he launches this. Hopefully I'll get a press release from him. I'll post it. I'll send him the link. He can share it. So it's a win-win. So if you got any really cool projects out there, you can send me a charity. I look at everything, and I'll post it, and we'll get it out there. And the internet really is the wild, wild west. It's crazy. So and everybody's living on there, at least they say. And hopefully, even when things settle down, they're still all going to be here. But hopefully we'll see some people, and I can shake hands. The fist pump thing, shake hands. So, well, with that said, Kevin, enjoy the weekend. Don't stay cold down there. Stay warm. I'm going to try to stay warm here, and hopefully spring's right around the corner. And then I got green pollen in April and May, and then the heat comes. So that's Atlanta weather for you. But for all you commercial construction coffee talk people out there, enjoy the weekend. best of success in the rest of 2022. And we will see you next time on another episode. And Kevin, say goodbye from West Palm.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, David, for having me part of the show.
Absolutely. And I'm going to sign off from Sugar Hill, Georgia, just below the Beaufort Dam, about 25 miles out of Atlanta, just below Lake Lanier. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you sometime in person. And we will, everybody, like I said, have a great rest of the year, and we will see you on another episode. Talk to you later. All right.
All right. Thanks, David.
You bet. See ya.